Hey everybody, how you doing out there? Welcome to a new week. This is week 5, and for all practical purposes, this is midterm. I don't do tests in the class, so we're just going to keep moving along, doing assignments, discussion questions, and also experiencing the team side of the course. Okay, let's get into it. This is the content tab. We're going to first look at week 4, what we're closing out. This is the end of week 4. I've seen a lot of threads for both videos. I've seen some pros and cons to Natalie. She's a relatively new video that I'm posting. I love her message, and I also like her coaching. I can understand that some folks maybe not connect with where she's at in life, but there's always moments of aspiration. Now, also, this is something I've always said in my classes, is not all videos you're going to land with. But there's going to be some people that land with one video that you don't, and vice versa. That's just the nature. I've been reading some threads also of people that love what Natalie had to say. Of Maurice, I will say this is probably by far the number one best video for entrepreneurs. I think he does a great job in getting deep, but not too deep. But sharing things with you like MVP that you need to think about. So I really enjoyed all of the feedback and the posts. And as of this evening, you have your Edge of Entrepreneurism that's due. So it's going to be exciting to see who you chose and why. Now, going into week 5, here we are, folks. First team assignment. Hopefully you've galvanized as a team. You've had conversations and you're on your way. And the 2 discussion questions this week. One is your way, talking about how we listen the best, where we're misstepping, and he does it in such a unique way. This is one of my all-time favorite talks. And hang in there, because at first you're going to say, "Why is this really for a business class?" He will land it for you. Just like the Peachy Cooches, he will get there for you. And it's fabulous if you hang in there. The message that he cascades upon you. And the other discussion question is critical for you to complete the work this week is the SWOT assessment. This is your first team assignment. And as a team, you're going to choose any organization to do SWOT assessment on. And it can be, this is where I do not care if you choose Nike, if you choose Dutch Bros, Walmart, whatever. I just want you to go through the steps because this is the most utilized methodology in producing work product. And so, again, if I didn't emphasize enough last week, the strengths and weaknesses, he's going to talk about it in his video, is internal to the business. This is stuff I have control of. And then you have opportunities and threats that are outside of your business. And finally, trends. This is the new one. You got to add that last T. I've seen too many teams miss this last T. This is consumer tastes and behaviors and disruptions and so forth. Now, there's a lot of templates out there, but I want you to create your own template. Look at what is going to be the dashboard, but then reinvent. And the examples do a great job. So Tyranny, she wanted to open a company called Dakota Teas. She did a SWOT assessment on her business. It wasn't open yet. And I like the layout of her work. It's something that is easily consumable by the reader, and also it's visually appealing. So she looked at the internal controls. She thought the t-shirt designs were going to be cutting edge because she's going to be in a cluttered business space. Social impact, because how she was going to get her materials, and target market. Now, on the other end, the weaknesses, brand recognition. I mean, there's a lot of t-shirt companies out there. How does she get her name out there? I like the name of the company. Naming of a company is one of the hardest things to do. High price margins and physical interaction. Oh my gosh, it's all of a sudden sun's coming through. It's so rainy earlier. Ethical source materials or opportunities. Sell other products. Maybe she has some ball caps, maybe socks, what have you, and then partnership events. Some of the threats she thought was business model, increased labor costs. She's wanting to give everybody a livable wage, and then field marketing, and then her trends. So many things I want you to take away from this. I don't want you to, because oftentimes when I see a SWOT, there's just like 15 bullets per section. That's too much. What are the highlights right now? And so she chose the top 3. I like how she did the post-it approach. And she re-envisioned what a framework would look like. This is really well done. And if we jump back out, there's another example by Abby. She did open her business. It's a leatherworks company. And she talks about, here's the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats of the leather goods that she's producing. Just a different look and feel to this assignment. You can look at it yourself. But again, as a team, you need to personalize it. Okay? Also this week, you have 2 assignments. You have 1 team assignment, and then you have what I call It's Your Call. If you look down here, your call. You're doing the looking glass assignment. I can't show you examples because this is an incredibly personal experience. But what I'm trying to get to you through this assignment is understanding that when you lead groups of people, when you are in business, you don't get to choose who you work with. There's going to be different age, generational differences. There's going to be gender disparity in the workplace. There's going to be people from different ethnicities. And how do we all come together and do the best for the company, but also recognize employees that work with us? I will tell you, beyond appreciation, number 1 reason people leave their job. The second reason is purpose. And the third is feeling connected to that business. And so the looking glass, what I'm going to do is for this assignment, students will participate in a community for which they have never engaged. And what you're going to do as you go into this community, when I say your call, you can go with somebody else. Maybe this class is pairs. You can go as 3, or you go as a group, or you go by yourself. And once you've chosen this community, the paper you write for me is, why did you choose this specific community? All the communities are out there. Why this one? How did you feel before you participated with this community? What specific experience stood out during your visit? Did the time spent change or reinforce previous assumptions? I'm not looking for you to have to change. I just want to make sure you're not living with preconceived notions. What do you know about this community? And then I'm also welcoming additional thoughts you want to share in this space. The only way we can expand our mental models is by having honest conversations. And again, this is an open canvas, wherever you want to go. I've had students in the past that were very left politically go to a right event and see if they could understand. I had students that are on my own ground class last week ask where they could go when one student said, why don't you go to SEI? SEI, self-enhancement, and I don't want to mess that up. SEI is how I know them, know the acronym, and just go experience the SEI world. Great choice. I had 2 other students that are going to go in an affinity group at PCC, and that's a cool thing at PCC. They have so many affinity groups, and just learn about different communities. I had another student that, oddly enough, she went to the naked bike ride event because she wanted to understand their ethos and their motivation and so forth. That's a little extreme. I'm not expecting that. But where are you going to go? And where are you going to push yourself a bit? I had another student just purchase a home and went to an HOA meeting. Didn't know anything about it and wanted to know more. I had another student go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting. So again, any place where you don't know enough or you have preconceived notions, this is where you want to go. The papers are typically 2 to 3 pages long. I've done this assignment for about 8 years at PCC. And they've been eye-openers. I've had some students go into a community and write to me and say, Cole, my mind has been completely blown, and I'm changing completely my belief system in this space. And I mean, it helps me be a better leader, better business owner, better employee. Then I've had other students, so I went, I'm reinforced, I'm not changing who I am, but I understand better. And that's all we need to do here for this assignment. Because again, you don't get to choose who you work with. but you want to make sure who you work with, we're getting the best out of them, and they feel good about giving their best. Okay, so this is a dynamic assignment. So I look forward to reading your work. I do not share any of this work with anyone because I know it's very personal, but it's a great way to push you out of your comfort zone. And then if we look into week 6, we're already getting through halfway. Then we get into consumer behavior. And the objective of this assignment is analyze the factors influencing consumer behavior. This is a new assignment, relatively new. So in any class, you have an instructor that's offering something new because you want to stay current and relevant. This is my newest assignment I've ever offered at PCC. So I'm curious how you forge a new path. I do have 2 examples done by I started this assignment spring of last year, or spring of this year. And I want to see how far you can push the envelope as a team. Okay, folks, that's everything. I've rambled enough. I will talk to you next week. Unless you need me during the week, reach out.